Hello, Lucy and Conrad and Caleb. You love Iron Man, you love Angel and the X-Men. Wow, here they are in one story. I am looking forward to this one. Iron Man guest starring the Angel by special arrangement with X-Men magazine. And look, this is kind of a teaser. My power jets are exhausted. I'm falling. Looks like the Angel has defeated Iron Man. But look at Iron Man. He's got new armor, red and gold. All right, so this is kind of exciting news for Iron Man fans. All right, so let's jump into our story and see what's going on. This is just another little sneak peek to what we're going to see later on. The new Iron Man meets the Angel, and they're up in the sky fighting each other. We're not sure why, but we'll figure it out, won't we? All right, the Angel says, "The sky is my element, Iron Man. You haven't a chance against me up here." Well, Iron Man says, "Angel, I'm betting that you're wrong, and I'm betting my very life." And so these are two heroes who both are very talented in flying, and we'll just see how their battle turns out and why they're fighting each other in the first place. All right, the editor says the Angel and the X-Men appear in the story through the courtesy of the editors of the X-Men magazine. The Avengers are depicted briefly on these pages by special arrangement with the copyright owners of the Avengers magazine. And of course, Marvel controls both the X-Men and the Avengers, so they're just trying to advertise both of their groups, their other comics. All right, so this is the real beginning of the story. We seem to be living in an age of miracles. The miracle of atomic energy, orbiting satellites, Telstar communications, and one of the most miraculous sights ever beheld is the sight of a strangely costumed teenager soaring through the sky, held aloft by his own wings. The sight of the X-Man known as the Angel. And so here's the Angel flying along. He says, "I can reach the professor's school in Westchester faster if I take a shortcut over the factory below." But look, what's the name of the factory? It's Stark. All right, so this is how he's going to interact with Iron Man. The factory below happens to be the weapons plant of Anthony Stark, where a vital atomic test is about to take place. The Angel looks down and he sees the Iron Man. "Someone is waving to me below. It's Iron Man. I never actually thought I'd see him in the flesh." If that is flesh, which of course it isn't, it's iron, but nonetheless, Iron Man is waving at him. What is he trying to say? Well, he's trying to say, "Back, you young fool! Get back! A deadly atomic explosion is about to be detonated here." It's no use, he doesn't hear me. Only one thing to do. I have to use my power jets to fly up to him. I've got to warn him away. And the Angel thinks he's zooming up to me, probably just as anxious to see me. Well, don't flatter yourself, Angel. Boy, wait till I tell the gang at Professor X's about this. He's shouting something, trying to make me leave, but why? Iron Man says, "The explosion will go off at any moment. Turn back. Can't you hear? Turn back." The Angel is so full of himself, so full of being excited about meeting Iron Man, he's not paying attention. And then in the next split second, it is too late for turning back. Too late for words, for actions, for anything. In that fateful split second, a highly refined nuclear explosion takes place, dangerously close to Iron Man and the Angel. Boom! I can't even make a noise loud enough to replicate what's going on with this explosion. Protected by his heavily insulated, flexible metal costume, Iron Man is able to withstand the tremendous shock of the explosion without suffering any lasting ill effects. Ugh, says Iron Man, too late. Too late to save the angel. But the angel, wearing no such protective clothing, receives the brunt of the radioactivity. And he realizes that's why he tried to signal me away, an atomic explosion, and I caught whatever radioactivity there was. Lucky my wings were powerful enough to keep me from being blown clear out of the sky. And then, before another instant passes, it happens. The subtle, dangerous change comes over the angel. I feel different, as though I'm a new person, a smarter, craftier, slyer person. And yes, I admit it, a far more evil person. And so the radioactivity from the atomic blast is changing the angel's personality. He's going from a good hero to an evil villain. Meantime, having fully recovered from the impact of the detonation, Iron Man heads for the angel again. He thinks, I've got to reach him, see if he needs any help. But the angel flies away. He thinks, I don't know what that clumsy fool is following me for, but I'll show him that nobody can catch the angel. And Iron Man realizes my jets are losing power. I've overtaxed them. I've flown too high, too fast. And Iron Man says he knows I'm in trouble, but he's taunting me. He's staying just out of reach. It's just as I feared. The explosion changed his personality, made him cruel, merciless. No more time to worry about him now. I have to save myself. My power jets are completely exhausted. I'm about to plummet to Earth. And so Iron Man falls. I mustn't panic. I have one slim chance. But look, he's getting closer and closer to the ground. My magnetic repeller, if only the power is strong enough. And so his magnets are now repelling him from the Earth. And as he descends, he thinks it's working. I aimed it at the ground below. I can feel it repelling the ground, pushing against it, breaking my fall. And so he crashes through the roof. It's acting like a brake, really cutting my speed. If only it cuts it enough. I'm going to hit now. This is it. I made it. So he fell to the ground. Can't quite get there. I made it. Some slight damage to my protective chest plate, but it won't be difficult to repair. Boy, he says, I just love you little magnetic repellers. Minutes later, in his private lab, Iron Man becomes millionaire manufacturer Anthony Stark again as he broadcasts a call to his secretary, Pepper Potts. Pepper, he says, I'll be in my lab for the next hour or two. I don't want to be disturbed. Pepper answers, I read you loud and clear, boss. A short time later, a startling announcement is made in Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. And this is the angel shouting. He says, that's right, you heard me, I'm quitting, and there's nothing you can do about it. So, the change in Angel's personality is causing him to quit the X-Men. Inside the vast main chamber, Cyclops, the Beast, Iceman, and Marvel Girl all register stunned disbelief at the news. Angel, you can't. You were one of the first X-Men. We started together. "Aw, don't let him rib you," says Iron Iceman. "He's just kidding." "No, he's not," says Marvel Girl. "I can tell it. He means it." "You're blamed right I mean it," snaps the Angel. "Why should I waste my talents on you lightweights? You're the good mutants. Ha, big deal. I'm going to find the bad ones, the ones that want to rule the earth, the ones we're supposed to fight. And I'm going to join up with them. That's where the action is." Beast says, "Oh no you don't, pal. You don't break up this combo so easily." And Iceman says, "I don't know what the gag is, but Professor X ain't gonna like it." "We must stop him," says Marvel Girl, "until the professor gets here." "Stop me," says Angel. "Ha, you earthbound clods haven't a chance against the Angel. See?" And he flies up and grabs the Beast, who says, "Hey, let go, you oversized parakeet." "Stand back, ladies and gents. Old Cyclops will stop him with a low-intensity energy blast." But before Cyclops can raise his awesome visor, "Heads up, Cyclops," says Angel. "Here's a visitor for you." And he tosses the Beast, who says, "Look out below. That nut really blew his top." "You clumsy oaf," says Cyclops. "You made me miss the Angel." "Don't blame me, pal," answers the Beast. "Tell it to the law of gravity," because gravity dropped the Beast down on Cyclops, whose eye beams go haywire. Iceman says, "You can't beat me as easily as the others, Angel. I'll trap you in this quick freezing wall of ice." "Are you kidding, sonny boy? Just watch," says the Angel. "By flapping my wings at top speed while hovering over the ice, I can melt it away faster than you can form it. And now I'm cutting out of here." "Oh, no, you don't," says Marvel Girl. "I can keep you here by restraining you mentally." "But not unless you hit me with those corny mental beams of yours, and you're too slow to hit the Angel, beautiful. See what I mean, baby? You're great at moving bookcases, chairs, and ordinary, unsuspecting human beings, but you're not so good against a target who can fly rings around you." And so he flies away. Meanwhile, back in his lab, Tony Stark has almost finished the needed repairs on his protective chest device. He says, "Once I put this paper-thin iron foil insulator in place, I should be as good as new again." There, it's done. Now to get out of this contraption and become just plain old Tony Stark again. The average, ordinary, ever-loving, millionaire, playboy industrialist. I just release all the magnetic doohickeys and the whole caboodle snaps neatly off and folds into place. So he likes his new armor, doesn't he? But back at the ranch, Angel is still fighting the other X-Men. "Okay, weaklings, you've had your fun, but now the fun's over. The next time we meet, I'll be fighting on the side of the other mutants, the ones who want to destroy mankind." Do you think he really will join the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants? I hope not. "He's gone, and we couldn't stop him. Here comes the professor. He'll think of something," as Angel flies away. "Don't waste time with needless explanations," says Professor X. "I followed the entire incident mentally. I must now try to reach the Angel, to call him back." "What got into the Angel, sir?" asks Cyclops. "What made him turn bad?" "Quiet, Cyclops," says the Beast. "Can't you see the Prof wants to send out a thought call to him?" Thought call, thought call. "Angel, this is Professor X. Return at once. This is an unqualified order." "You don't scare me anymore, mister," answers the Angel. "The only ones I'll be taking orders from now on are the other mutants, those who you call the evil ones. Back in his chamber, Professor X broods, not suspecting the real reason for the angel's change of character. He says, "This is my first serious failure. If I could fail with the angel, how do I know who will be next? Am I training a group of powerful X-Men who will one day turn against mankind? Perhaps we should stop the program. Perhaps it was wrong from the start." But before we make any such decision, we must finish the job at hand. We must stop the angel, for if he joins the evil mutants, bringing with him his X-Men training, we may find they are too powerful even for us to challenge. We must take no chances. We must request help. Cyclops, contact the Avengers. "Yes, sir, Professor," says Cyclops. Minutes later, Cyclops broadcasts an urgent appeal over a secret wavelength used only by the X-Men and other specially licensed crime-fighting organizations. This is the X-Men calling the Avengers. "Come in, Avengers. Do you read me? Do you read me?" Iceman says, "Keep trying, Cyclops." The Avengers. We know who they are. A dedicated group of Earth's mightiest superheroes, consisting of the Hulk, Mighty Thor, Giant Man, the Wonderful Wasp, and Iron Man. The call has gone out to them, but will they respond? This is interesting. This is one of the early editions of the Avengers, back when the Hulk was still part of that group. Far to the west, in a New Mexico proving ground, Bruce Banner is at work in a lab, which means there is no Hulk at that moment to receive the X-Men's message. While Mighty Thor, in his other identity as Dr. Don Blake, is making his rounds at Municipal Hospital, far from his shortwave receiving set. And so the Hulk and Thor are involved in their other human identities. And Giant Man and the Wonderful Wasp are enjoying a rare social evening together as Henry Pym and Janet Van Dyne and only have eyes and thoughts for each other. And so look, they're out on a date, dancing around. Of all the Avengers, only Iron Man receives X-Men's call, as it is transmitted to him through his concealed shoulder receiver, which is always in position on his hidden chest device. And here comes Happy. "Say, boss, did I just hear someone else's voice?" He's hearing Cyclops calling the Avengers, but Tony says, "No, Happy, you're only imagining things. Now excuse me, I'd like to be alone, where I can listen to this message in private." "Did you hear that?" hollers Happy. "Did you hear how he spoke to me? To me, his personal chauffeur, his trusted pal. I've got a good mind to quit." Pepper says, "Quit what, Happy? You haven't done a bit of work since you came here." Yeah, Happy's got a pretty cushy job. I doubt that he's going to quit. "Oh ho, you too. I think it's a conspiracy," hollers Happy. "Poor Pepper, you try to hide the fact that you're nuts about me by making insulting remarks. But you don't fool me, baby. I know how you feel about me." And Pepper says, "If you really did know, Mr. Hogan, you'd join the Foreign Legion. That is, if they'd lower their standards and take you." They're always squabbling with each other. Meantime, inside Stark's private office, Stark says, "It must be pretty serious if Professor X wants the Avengers to help his X-Men stop the Angel, but I'm the only one who received the call. None of the other Avengers responded." "Well, I won't tell the others. I'll handle this little job by myself. After all, in a way, it's my fault that the Angel was transformed into a potential menace. And so, Anthony Stark, in the person of Iron Man will undo the harm that's been done, or I'll die trying. Meanwhile, the Angel flies over New York with just one thought in mind. I've got to contact the evil mutants and join up with them. But it's easier said than done. How do I find them? Well, there's only one thing to do. I'll let them find me. And so, here's a work site with dynamite. One of the workers says, "Hey Charlie, some guy with wings just stole some TNT from us and flew away with it." "You know it, and I know it, Rocco, but don't tell anyone else or they'll send us off to the Happy Farm." So they're not going to tell anybody about this winged fella, but nonetheless, he stole some dynamite, and so he's dangerous. There, the explosion high over the city ought to make everybody sit up and take notice. Boom! And he exploded the dynamite over the city. And if that didn't do the trick, I'll drop some more over the harbor. So he dropped some dynamite in the water, just in case some of the bad guys are leaving for a cruise. So maybe they'll see it in the water, right? Well, that's the last of it. I didn't do any damage, but I sure made a wing-ding of a racket. All right, so what does this tell us? The Angel isn't so bad, really, that he'd want to destroy anything. He's just trying to get some attention. And aren't we lucky that Magneto and the evil mutants aren't watching? I'll just wait around for the X-Men's mutant enemies to contact me. And when I do, and when I join them, that's when the damage will start. That's when ordinary humans better head for the hills. But the wary evil mutants, recognizing the Angel, suspect a trap and do not show themselves. Instead, a powerful masked figure appears on the scene, propelled by his astonishing power jets. And he says, "Hold it, officers, don't shoot." He sees the policemen with their guns drawn. One policeman says, "It's Iron Man." No time to explain now, but the Angel isn't really responsible for what he's doing. "Give me a chance to stop him before you attack, Chief." And the Chief says, "Well, I don't know what the regulations would say about this, but seeing it's you, all right, you have 10 minutes. 10 minutes to stop the Angel." I don't know what I can accomplish in a scant 10 minutes, but I've got to try. And so Iron Man shoots up into the air, again approaching the Angel. "Angel, stop!" he cries. "Wait, I've got to talk to you." "You again?" retorts Angel. "Looks like I'll have to polish you off for good now." Didn't expect this little maneuver, did you? And so he's stopped with his wings. Iron Man thinks, my jets can't make me as nimble as his wings make him. He can fly rings around me. What's he trying to... Oh! And so Angel reaches out and grabs Iron Man's boots. "Ha! Got you." By holding my legs, he's forcing me to turn against my will. Angel says, "I hope your passport is in order, pal, because you're about to take a little trip." And Iron Man realizes he's aiming me toward the ground. If I don't stop myself, I'll crash like a burned out rocket. "Okay, Sonny boy, now you'll learn that Iron Man knows a few tricks too. He cut off his jets. But why? Why indeed?" In case you were wondering, I figured that surprise move of mine would catch you off guard long enough for me to grab you like this. And so Iron Man flips around in the air and he grabs the Angel. Holding the Angel's slim wrists in a vice-like grip, Iron Man applies his jets at half power and brings his struggling quarry down to earth at LaGuardia Airport. And then he says, "Okay, the coffee break's over, son. Now I want to tell you why you're acting as you are and what we have to do about it." But not realizing the extent of Angel's personality change, Iron Man carelessly relaxes his grip for an instant, and He broke away from me. And Angel says, it can't be that unthinking. You can't be that unthinking when you're dealing with an X-Man, chum. Or should I say an X-X-Man? Hey, how come I don't hear you laughing? That was a joke. X-X-Man. And he flies away. Iron Man says he's trying to get out the other side of the hangar, but I know how to stop him. Without a second's hesitation, Iron Man hurls 3 powerful transistor magnets in the direction of the Angel. Fly straight and true, little friends. 1, 2, 3 magnets. And Angel says that walking hunk of tin is cracking up. What does he expect to gain by tossing those toys past me? Bam, bam, bam. Iron Man's flying foe soon learns that those little toys, powered by their mighty transistors, have a pull which cannot be broken by mere flesh and blood. And Angel realizes, I can't budge those blamed things. So that's it. He thinks he can lock me in. Well, you've got another think coming, Iron Man. This hangar has more than one door. Blast it, says Iron Man. No more magnets left. I couldn't manage to clamp that door shut in time. Desperately, Iron Man races from hangar to hangar, seeking his airborne foe, until he says no sign of him in the sky. He must still be in, hey, what? And Angel swoops by. I was waiting for you to step in there, Tinhead. This time I'll do the locking, and you'll be the one who can't get out. So long, sucker. Click, slam. He slams the hangar door. Switching on his emergency light beam, Iron Man takes quick stock of his situation. A fine thing, the dreaded Iron Man locked up in a storage building. Well, there's only one way to open a lock when you haven't got the key. One way, that is, if you're Iron Man, and so he lights the way with his chest plate, and that is to activate your arm power pack to its highest intensity, giving your muscles enough strength to force the lock as though it's made of cardboard. And here's a cutaway view of his arm power pack. And of course we can see he's strong enough to yank the door open. Phew, that was a strain even for me. Now I've got to start hunting for the Angel all over again. Oh no, there he is atop that water tower. And as he stands there, the Angel thinks, what's keeping the evil mutants? Why don't they join me? And Iron Man says, I still feel he hasn't turned completely bad. There's still a chance of shocking him back to his normal self, and I'd better be right. For the only way I can think of doing it is by letting my own life hang in the balance. What is Iron Man's plan? Well, nobody's getting any younger, and the only way to find out if a stunt will work is by trying it. So here goes. Power jets turn to maximum full speed ahead, and so he shoots off toward the top of the water tower. At that split second, Angel hears the sound of Iron Man's jets and turns. You again? Are you sure there's only one of you? Iron Man says, one of me is more than enough, as you're about to find out. I got you. I knew that even your uncanny maneuverability wouldn't help you to dodge a head-on thrust using the full power of my jets. Iron Man, you're a fool, replies Angel. Those jet gizmos of yours can't have much more life in them the way you've been using them all day. And the higher you take me, the more strain you put on them, and the quicker your transistors will burn out. And when that happens, brother, you're cooked. In fact, it sounds to me as though they're starting to sputter now, and it couldn't have happened at a better time. He's right, thinks Iron Man. I've overtaxed my transistors. I can't remain aloft any longer. I'm starting to fall. As Iron Man's main power source begins to fail, the perfectly balanced Angel easily breaks free from his heavier foe, a foe who begins to quiver in the air until he falls. And then Angel says, "Don't give up, buddy. Maybe you'll be lucky and grow a pair of wings like me." He's being facetious. "This is your finish, Iron Man, and good riddance. I warned you to stop hounding me, but you wouldn't listen. Think it over, Rustpot, on your way down." And look, Iron Man is in free fall while the Angel still floats and boasts. Iron Man says, looks like I guessed wrong this time, and this is one game where there's no second chance." Iron Man had hoped that Angel would have mercy on him, but it doesn't look like it. Even my magnetic repeller won't be able to save me, not at the speed I'm falling at now, because Iron Man was up so much higher than he was before. Now the magnetic repellers won't slow him down. "It's too bad I wasn't able to help the Angel. The police are sure to shoot him down as soon as he flies within range." I wish I could think of an immortal last sentence to say, but all I feel like shouting is, "Help! Help!" Still hovering above, we find the Angel. And he says, "Why did he try to butt into my affairs? He said he wanted to help. The fool! He needs help now, but he hasn't a chance." While on the ground below, as the police wait tensely, long-range TV cameras cover every inch of Iron Man's earthward plunge as a shocked nation seems to hold its breath. And they're staring in stunned disbelief. The reporter says you can almost see him with the naked eye now, and the policeman says it can't be the end of Iron Man. It just can't be. But Iron Man says just another few seconds and it'll be all over. I kind of wish I could have said goodbye to Pepper and Happy. And directly above the plummeting figure, Angel says, "What's the matter with me? Why do I feel so shocked? He was my enemy, as all crime fighters are. Why can't I be glad of his fate? It's not my fault. I didn't ask him to try to battle me. All I have to do is close my eyes and wait another few seconds. Then it'll all be over for him forever." "No, I can't. I can't." And Angel comes to his senses. Suddenly, the strange teenage mutant begins a power dive, streaking towards the falling Iron Man. I've got to save him. The Angel has turned, and he's a good hero again. "The Angel," says Iron Man, "he's coming after me, but he'll never make it unless I can slow my fall just enough to give him the time he needs. I've got to try my magnetic repellers again, if they can even slow me down for a few seconds. The ground is coming so close and the repellers are so weak. It's no use. I'm bound to crash." And then, just a few fatal feet above the ground which seems to be careening madly up towards Iron Man to seize him in a deadly embrace, Angel says, "It's got to be now. I mustn't miss." "Got you." And the Angel grabs hold of the wrist of Iron Man just in time. "Angel, you did it," said Iron Man. "You justified my faith in you." "Your faith in me?" asks Angel. "What are you talking about?" "I knew my power jets would fail when I reached a certain height, but I had to do it to make you save me, to prove to the police and to yourself that you're not evil." The policeman said, "We saw the whole thing, Iron Man. Lucky thing we held our fire. What gives with that Angel character? Is he for us or against us?" Iron Man answers, "I think you'll find he's for us from now on. This little incident brought him back to normal." He wasn't really to blame for his actions, Chief. He was affected by some atomic rays at a test conducted by Anthony Stark at his weapons plant. The rays affected his brain for a time, until now. And the Angel says, "So that's the answer. I should have guessed." "Then you risked your life to shock me back to myself. You did a thing like that for someone you don't even really know." Angel is surprised. But Iron Man assures him, "I had heard of you and of the astounding X-Men. That was enough justification for me. And speaking of the X-Men, look, there they are." "Angel," cries Cyclops, "we saw the whole thing in Professor's viewscope." Marvel Girl says, "You're normal again. I'm so happy I could cry." And back in Westchester, in a quiet chamber, a quiet man sits, following the entire scene by mental projection. And he says, "So I did not fail. My X-Men training program is successful. Even under the influence of atomic radiation, Angel could not permit a fellow mortal to die." And then, unheard, unnoticed, unsensed by anyone else, the X-Men pick up a sharp, commanding thought, the silent emissary of Professor X, who says, "Your task is finished, my X-Men. Return to the school at once. There is a vast amount of new training for you to undergo. Class starts in 1 hour. Any tardiness will not be tolerated." Okay, so they'll be sure to be on time. But Angel says, "We've got to go now, Iron Man. But I must tell you this. If you ever need help, no matter how deadly the trouble, call on me. Call on the X-Men." "I'll remember, my young friend," says Iron Man. "Perhaps one day we might fight side by side rather than as enemies. And what a fight that would be. And I'm sure we'll see that someday." Finally, after Iron Man has recharged his transistors, so strong is the mental power of Professor X that one final thought beamed at Iron Man actually penetrates his brain. And Professor X says, "You risked your life for one of my X-Men. No matter who you really are, I shall repay you someday. I promise you that." And Iron Man says, "That thought, like someone invisible whispering into my ear." And you know what's interesting? Professor X, if he used his mental power, could easily find out Iron Man's identity. But he withholds that power for now. Iron Man continues, "But now I must return to my other identity as Tony Stark. Pepper and Happy, bless their hearts, were probably looking after things for me at the plant during my absence, and knowing them, someone could have stolen the whole factory from under their noses while they argue about which of them is my most alert assistant." So the editor leaves us with this. More surprises, drama, and thrills with Iron Man next issue as the Golden Gladiator continues to climb higher and higher on popularity polls throughout the nation. So, for super thrills in the marvelous Marvel manner, don't dare miss Suspense number 50. See you then. Well, I tell you what, my friends, we will not miss Suspense number 50. We will not miss the next issue of Iron Man, because he'll be fighting the Mandarin, his most powerful enemy. I'm very excited about this coming story. What Doctor Doom is to Fantastic Four, what Dr. Octopus is to Spider-Man, what Magneto is to the X-Men, the Mandarin is to Iron Man. And so we'll be introduced to the Mandarin next issue and watch his battle against Iron Man. It'll be a lot of fun, so don't you dare miss it. I know you won't. I'll be back with you soon. Love you. Mwah. Bye-bye.